Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Something Something podcast. My name is Erick Kaslov, your favorite podcaster's favorite podcaster. And with me, as always, is Larry Sands. How's it going, Larry?
Everything is going great, Eric. Everything is going great. Before we get into it, I do have to share. We talked about this earlier. I think we don't we don't really hide who we are, especially on this podcast, because when you're in the hospital, when things are happening to us, it's part of the creative process, right?
Hey, who was in the hospital?
Exactly. But one thing that I want to, and as little as it is, and it seems weird to even say that, but because nothing, when you talk about faith and being a Christian and faith in God and Jesus, there's nothing that's really small. And so I just want like this testimony. I want you to be a witness, and really everybody else who's watching this and listening. Um, so I lost my little headphone, right? Which is no big deal, but I've been looking for the last couple of days, and I was finally like, I stopped what I was doing, and I was like, Lord, please help me find it, guide me to it. And I was walking through our house, and like this has been driving me crazy for the last couple of days. I'd look everywhere. And as I was walking through the house, I just say, Lord, guide me and show me and open the door to let me find it. And I started to look under the bed, and right in a little nook of our closet, I just happened to look over, and guess what I found?
Your headphones. That's
Yeah.
so awesome.
Yeah. And it's weird in a way to share that, because obviously it's just a headphone. But and I think it's something that you said when we had talked about it earlier, right?
If
About
it matters to us, it matters to God.
absolutely. And if you look at it in terms of like that, and there's nothing that is too big, or there is nothing that is so definitely too small that the
Yeah.
Lord won't answer you.
I had the same thing happen with me a few months ago with the hard drive.
Right,
No,
right.
I didn't remember it, but there was really important stuff on there. And I was ready to pay money to have it fixed.
Yeah.
But then out of nowhere, I just prayed, Lord, fix it. And it got fixed. So, Larry, there's something I want to talk about. Now, me and you work in the film industry,
Yes.
which obviously means we could care less about other people unless it's going to help us or unless it's going to help our careers.
Right, right.
Like we've said several times, you would gladly shoot me in the face if it would help your career. And likewise, I would do the same.
Wait,
But
what?
I learned something. Okay, it's a little hard for me to say this word, so it feels like gravel in my mouth. Uh, Other people matter.
Right.
Wow. Now, seriously, look, I found out that there are other people on this planet who care about helping other people.
Right.
It's the most insane thing in the world, and they do it without expecting anything in return.
Right.
I don't understand why somebody would ever do that, but you found people who do that. They help other people without expecting anything in return.
Right. 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 And it's not just anybody. It's kids that really absolutely are looking for a way and a direction in life, and they have, I think, sometimes no clear path to what they're about to do and get into. Speaking about foster care, right?
Yeah.
Specifically. And so, what I would like to do is introduce James and Issa. We had them on our live, um, and they were on with Grayson Berry Productions, talking about
Yeah.
helping raise funds. James and Issa, welcome to the. Really, this is a joint podcast, because this is as much as it is to an opportunity to find out more about you guys, but really introduce the fact that we're doing a podcast with you guys. We're helping produce it and get it out, and not only just podcasts, but lives, Instagram lives, Facebook lives, and talking to people who I think matter. So, first of all, welcome to the Something Something podcast.
Thank you guys for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Thank you for having us
You're welcome. You're welcome. Now,
again.
Yeah.
exactly. And since this is a proper introduction, um, talk talk a little bit about what you guys are doing with your nonprofit, which is called It Takes a Village,
Mhm.
right? And from what I understand, your organization is a gap that bridges the end of foster care
Mhm.
with starting a new life
Mhm.
and figuring out how that life has to be figured out. Is that kind of like what
Mhm.
it is?
Yeah.
Yes. So we take over when they believe they have no more resources left. They have been in the system for X amount of time. It really doesn't matter how long. They could have been there 2 days or their entire childhood, and we receive them with open arms. The only requirement we have is that they want a new life, that they're ready to start their life and build a future that is sustainable to them and that blesses them in the ability to contribute to the community. But yes, that's exactly what it is. Um, I don't know how many people are familiar with it, but many youth, when they age out of the system because they're 18, if they're in a group home or if they're living with a foster parent that is not necessarily interested in caring for older youth, they're out on the streets. They essentially have to figure out being adults without the supervision, without the support, and that's where we step in.
Mm, my goodness, my goodness. And you did mention that you're not sure how many people like know about what you guys do or particularly about foster care,
Mhm.
which all of a sudden I'm sure foster care, if people remember Annie, little orphan Annie. um uh but I think that's one of the things that I know initially when we first started talking to you guys about um, doing a podcast together and getting the word out. And I I think a lot of people don't understand it because I don't think you hear a lot about it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Um, so when you say that kids in the youth system, the foster care system, that is literally a foster house
Mhm.
where it's a group of kids that live together. And how many people are in that? Is it a family setting? Can you explain
Yeah.
some of this stuff to us?
So there's a variety of ways it can happen. There's agencies that are dedicated to placing youth that are in the foster care system. Foster care system is essentially their award of the state. Some things happen in their life where they've been neglected, abused, or family members are not in a position to care for them. So the state takes over. When this happens, they get placed either in a shelter or in an emergency location with a foster parent or organization that then waits until they're placed in a more permanent location. And this could happen because they're going to be permanently removed from their original homes or giving parents an opportunity to get better to then be returned to their homes. So that's one of the it's a very complicated system. And then some of these agencies, their sole job is to find parents that are willing to take them in on a temporary basis until their permanent situation is resolved, whether that is going back home or being available for adoption. And that system to navigate can be very complicated. There's group homes where there's a bunch of them living with workers, caseworkers, caretakers, and they're on rotation. And there's also families like me and my husband that could potentially take in a youth or a child and care for them on a temporary basis. Um, a lot of people do this with amazing heart and care, but unfortunately, like many things, when there's money and there's too much bureaucracy, children can either become numbers. And I mean that just a number like, okay, I'm helping you and I'm just worried that you have a bed and a roof over your head, which is important, but that's not life in itself. Or it could be, I'm going to be good to you until it's financially detrimental to me, or I'll be this way because it's financially beneficial to me. And that's something that can further traumatize these kids. So
Mm.
it's a very complicated system. We're blessed to have it because other countries don't. And one big example is India. Orphan youth just end up at the brothel. Like literally, the brothel takes them in. These women decide, I'm just going to take the child in and make him a slave. They either help clean around the brothel or eventually become people that participate in the brothel. And unfortunately, it happens sooner rather than later. And but we have something in the United States that many countries don't have. We have a system dedicated to making sure children are taken care of. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But we don't have to throw the baby with the bathwater. It's more about people like us and many other people out there coming together and filling in those gaps and making it better. But it takes people. It takes not only money. Yeah, the government has the money to pay for this, but it requires good people to just be a part of it.
Yeah. Which comes the name of your organization. It takes a village. It really does. Now you guys have had the organization for how long?
A little bit over a year. We were founded in February of 2023.
Wow. What what made you want to start your organization?
Oh, that's another long story. So I just wanted to give back. My faith in God has me believing firmly that not everything that's given to me is not just for me to have, but to bless others and glorify God with. So we came across a piece of property that I felt very blessed to have, and I just wanted to put it to good use and was on a search for something bigger than myself. I didn't know quite how big that was going to be, but surfing the internet and on Facebook, another person that's involved in foster care, Tina Capito, she runs Garden of Hope locally, and that's a foster home, emergency foster home for younger children. Commented on another realtor's post about tiny homes and how that would be such an amazing option for youth that have aged out of foster care with nowhere to go. And I was just instantly in my heart, I felt I needed to know more. So I invited her out to eat. And in the process, she explained to me the craziness of it. And I just knew from that moment forward. I did all the research I needed to do to start a nonprofit. I didn't know how I was going to come together. I just knew that I had to do it and I had to find out how to help. And here we are.
Wow. Wow. And I mean, looking back, was it was it just that easy? And
No.
and and has it been, well, I was going to say, has it been everything that you have expected? But because this is such a unique, and I think it is unique because I don't know of a lot of organizations, and I'm sure there's some out there, but you never hear about it.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, what's the journey like? The year and some change, the year and a half journey been like for you and James through all this?
I would love for James to share his part.
Yeah.
It I've heard that a lot of people say that we make it look easy. It is not easy.
Yeah.
Emotionally, it takes a toll because we're helping, which is very gratifying, but there's so many people we can't help too, and that's heartbreaking. And it takes a toll. It's just staying focused. I went in this eyes wide open in the sense of I know we're not going to be able to save everybody, and we actually don't save anybody. We provide a place for people to be able to feel like they can flourish and take care of themselves. But at the same time, when reality hits and things don't go exactly how you want them to, you're still affected by it,
Yeah.
but we don't get a day off. You don't get a day off on nonprofit work. You don't get a day off because that's what we signed up for these kids to have somebody at the other side of the phone to call that will take that call, like a parent would, like I would for my children in college. If they call me that they have a flat tire, that they're hungry and are tired of ramen noodles, whatever the case may be, I'm going to be that parent that will DoorDash them, or if I'm close enough, we'll drive up and cook them a meal. So like they don't have that. And that's heartbreaking to me. So that means that when I formed this organization, and a lot of people might be thinking, oh, this is for money. I wish. Um, I formed it with the understanding that it's a huge commitment. I have to put the work where my mouth is. And there's a lot of behind the scenes emotional time, financial time, and time in general that I spend making sure that what we're promising these youth and what we're telling our donors is happening is happening.
Yeah.
And it's a very, very, very very, very heavy task to undertake. But I believe in this. And of course, my husband has his own perspective on this, and he's side by side with me from the beginning. So
Yes, yes. And actually, James, before you talk and before you let us know, I just put the link, the QR code, and obviously if you're watching this on Instagram or on your phone, you can't really click the link or can't do the QR code, but that's okay because here's the
website.
here's the website, and I think if you visit the website, and correct me if I'm wrong, that does the website have it's a Give Butter, right?
it does.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay, perfect, perfect. But James, talk to us a little about what's it been like for you through everything.
Well, in this past year, almost year and a half, we were able to establish a 501c3 nonprofit. Okay. And the key word here I want y'all to understand is nonprofit. Okay. So a lot of people have this idea of, nonprofits. We're in it for the money.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, if we were in it for the money, I know a few different ways to make a lot more money way faster than what we're doing. So we really made this a labor of love, because once I found out the statistics of what happens to the youth, once I met young ladies that have literally been pulled out of human trafficking,
Wow.
and then also being able to see them get accepted into college, getting to see pictures of them at their orientation, knowing that we're going to be taking a road trip with them to help them move into their dorm, and then other things on top of that from other board members donating a lot of stuff and time and effort. It's moments like that where it makes it all worth it. There's a lot of heartbreak in between, and there's a lot of stress. And it's been one of those things where even in our marriage we experience it, because we're co-laboring, and a certain amount of stress comes with that.
Yeah.
And so it's been helpful. It's kind of been like sharpening to us, but it hurts when those dull parts have to come off of you.
Yeah.
But it's been amazing, because even in this year and a half, we have seen a tremendous impact in the youth that have kind of wanted to come alongside us in their new life, and it's been amazing.
My goodness.
It's
My
interesting you're
goodness.
saying all this because, as someone, I joke around a lot because that's just my personality. As someone who's worked in youth ministry or children's ministry for, man, like 20 years. Weird because I'm only 24, despite what my birth certificate says.
Mm.
I really
I
feel
wasn't born, so yeah.
Mm.
I really feel, especially now, there is a war on our young people. Especially the ones in foster care who are going through that. But overall, our nation has kind of stopped caring unless a tragedy happens.
Mm.
And, we all care for a week.
Mhm.
Then we go back to our daily lives. And it's just so encouraging to see what you all are doing for the youths right now and just hearing the testimonies. So, how could like an average person who wants to help, is it going to the Give Butter? Is that the way someone could help with the organization?
There are so many ways to help. Of course, financial contributions are important. Fundraising is how we raise all our money. Even though we have an opportunity to pursue contracts and with foster agencies, it's not really what we prioritize. We're really wanting to help the youth that nobody can help, and there's requirements at times from agencies and government agencies to fund you that exclude kids we've already helped. That means if we were receiving these funds, we wouldn't have been able to help the girls that we helped. And so we're open to taking care of youth that have those benefits, of course, but we're also not wanting to exclude those that don't. And fundraising is how we do it. Now, I understand the economy is not the greatest. Not everybody can contribute the same amount of money. A dollar can go a long way. 100 people giving a dollar is $100. 1,000 people giving a dollar. I even have a dollar campaign out on social media. Literally a dollar, it works. And if I have 3,000 friends on Facebook and they give a dollar, that's $3,000.
Wow.
And
Wow.
that's one way that's important. I'm not going to deny that funds is what we need to build the community that would help us keep them stable and reduce costs. Right now, we're renting apartments and paying rent where we could own these pieces of property as an organization, reduce the overhead so that we can help more youth. Um, the other way that people can help is sharing. We have a very, 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 very active social media platform, and we keep people informed. I am constantly pouring time and information down those channels. So if you just share it, the right person with the right funds and the right time can do it. That's another way. Share what we're saying, share what we're doing, tell people, ask other people to help, do a call to action. The other way people can help is volunteering if they're in the area and coming to our events and being where we're fundraising and being able to donate their time. Time is money. We say that all the time. So it literally is. And we spend a lot of hours of our day making things come together. So the more people that work, the hours get divided between more people, and we can accomplish more with less time. And also you get that satisfaction of seeing, peeking behind the curtain. You get to see who we really are, what we're really about by volunteering, because I promise you both him and I will be in the trenches sweating and volunteering with you. We don't just go on social media to ask for money. We don't just show up to podcasts. We don't just go to news interviews. We're out there sweating outside, putting barricades, taking money, and, doing all the things volunteers do, cleaning up. And because this is what we believe in, and you'll get to see us and see our heart for yourself. The other way is we're a little bit more strict on that, but we want mentors. We want other people that want to work one-on-one with these youth. Again, we're very strict on that. So there's reasons for that.
Of course.
It requires a certain type of personality. We have to be able to love these kids through their mistakes. And I don't think everybody's equipped to see through that because we have our own way of functioning. And we also have to be able to take in the load, the emotional load that it requires to hear the stories from these youths themselves. So we do kind of go through an interview process, and we want people to be prepared to understand that there's ways to interact and not lecture and
Right.
not condemn and not kind of like judge them, but also speak life, positivity,
Right.
and
Right.
encourage them and correct them. But there's a way to do that, and
Yeah.
I'm overzealous about that, and I'm not apologetic about it. So yes, but we do need people to sign up for mentorships. What else? What other ways can people get
So
involved?
I believe in the three T's: time, talent, and treasure. She pretty much spoke on all of those. Another thing is we are very innovative when it comes to fundraising. So we have a chicken race
Yeah.
maybe once or twice a year.
Yeah.
We've done private screenings of movies. We do a battle of the food trucks. We do very unique things. We're going to have a big cornhole tournament at this next one. So if you have some form of talent or idea for a fundraiser and you can come meet us and we can help launch it off the ground and you kind of run with it,
Yeah.
we're open to stuff like that too. But the last thing is another T, it's a thought. If I could just get you to meditate on this thought for a second. Imagine you're in a house, you walk into a room you think is empty, but in that room you find a fire and it's small, you know? But instead of doing what it takes to quench that fire, you close the door and you turn a blind eye because maybe you think you can't put the fire out,
Mm.
and you close that door and you continue throughout your day. If you think about the nature of a fire, we all know what's going to happen if you leave that fire
Yeah.
burning. So that's what's happening with these youth. Their statistics say that the young women who age out and end up on the streets, it's like 70 something percent will encounter human trafficking. But I can tell you 100% of the young ladies we've helped and have gone through our program were victims or potential victims getting groomed for human trafficking. And a lot of people think that this is in the movies. It's kind of not in our neighborhood, it's not in our backyard, it's not even in our city, because that's how I used to think. But this is happening every single day with youth that are on the streets, and most of them are aging out of the foster care system. So I just want you to think that that's just one aspect of the fire that's burning. And if you meditate on that, and if something is put onto your heart to help, whether it's help us or whether it's to start this up wherever you're at, you can reach out, and we don't gatekeep. We want to build this up wherever people want to do
Start it.
this, so
Yeah.
that way the youth get that the hand up that they need, not a handout but a hand up.
Right.
Exactly. It sounds like what you all are doing is that old, saying if you teach a man if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. But you're teaching these young people to fish, and
Mhm.
we've all seen movies where I hope that most foster care people are good-hearted people, but we all know that bad people don't outright tell you they're bad. So you guys, what everyone listening to this, you have a chance to partner up with everyone here to help these kids who have never had anyone believe in them.
Mm.
And all it really takes to change someone's life is one person believing in them, even if it's just for a couple hours or hopefully a couple years. But you can impact someone by joining up with New Life Village. And it's an awesome opportunity. And, I really feel blessed to be part of this with all of you, even though, I'm thousands of miles on the other side of the country. We're able to do this to help
Yeah.
people. And there's so much I want to say, but it keeps like skipping out of my mind. tell us some, if you can, some more of the stories you've had from people you've helped. Because what you've talked about, taking these kids who came from bad situations to college. I mean, what does that do for you, knowing that, if it wasn't for God bringing you to that person at that time,
Mhm.
something awful would have happened?
Yeah. And it's very interesting that you say that because it's like we go in with that goal, and even in the process of helping this young lady and another young lady accomplish something amazing, like going to college, joining the military, knowing that that's what they want to pursue in life, I hadn't really thought about what would have happened to them if we hadn't decided to start this organization a year ago, a little bit over a year ago, until recently. The news, and in the news interview, was interviewing one of our young ladies, and she said that, and it just kind of like brought it to reality. I am the type of person, I like my fight or flight. When I'm on fight mode, I am just accomplishing the mission, and it took me aback to really absorb the fact that that one decision a year ago, even though I'm working towards these other things, that it feels like I haven't accomplished, mission accomplished, because this person felt safe. Like, she was able to say that she felt she didn't think she would be alive if it weren't for us. That's huge. Like, whether somebody showed up the day after or not, we don't know that. What we did know is that we showed up, that we said yes. And and imagine how many more lives can be changed with another year. We've touched about 7 lives directly in a positive way, 11 altogether. Some obviously fall through the cracks. They make other choices because they're adults and they're developing. But this, if I were to give up or say no, how many more could end up in a situation where we're not there for them? And that's huge to me. I walked in there saying, if only one life can be changed, that's worth it to me. And the fact that we're able to say that in 1 year is amazing, for not one life, but at least that we know of, at least 2 people, and directly their lives completely changed. And we have a potential another young man coming in soon that I have so much belief that his life is going to turn around for the better, because he has a drive. They're just wanting somebody to believe in them. This is all it is. They're wanting somebody to give them a shot, to give them a roof over their head, and the stability to know that while I'm figuring these things out, while I'm growing up to be an adult, where I'm trying to figure out, I belong somewhere. I have an opportunity to a new life. There's a set of people that care for me, and all they want me is to succeed. They don't want anything else from me but for me to have a new life. And that's what we're about.
What's crazy is you guys, this is for all of our, filmmakers and movie audience. You guys are kind of like a combination of George Bailey and Clarence to these people. You're able, by touching one person's life,
Mm-hmm.
you're touching so many other people's lives. Like the kids you help, someone's going to hear their story
Yeah.
and it's just going to completely change them. And then another person, just by this little bit of stuff you're doing right now, and because you guys were willing to take a scary leap, this,
Yeah.
I'm sure, just wasn't an easy decision. Like, hey, you know what, let's do this. I'm sure there was
Yeah.
lots of prayer and thought and discussion that went into this, but
Mm-hmm.
the fact that you took the leap means so much, and it's going to mean keep this doesn't stop with the two of you. It's going to keep going for
Yeah.
generations and generations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're hoping to inspire these youth to a level that when they make it, when they get to that place, which I believe is limitless for them, that they turn around and give back. Not to us, but to the community, that they decide, you know what, maybe I can do this for others, knowing what I know, and I can make it better because of what I know. And another way, I know you guys asked about how people can get involved. So
Yeah.
there's, of
Yeah.
course, supporting us, But ideally, if people are stepping in when they're younger, we're not even necessary. So like if you are in your community and you feel you have a heart for taking care of youth, taking care of foster youth, get plugged in. You can reach out to us if you're out of town. We can find an agency near you that might work, that can help you get plugged in. We can help you get started where you're at. Obviously, know what your talent is and your gift is. If you believe you could just fundraise for an organization, do that, because being with the youth, it requires a specific commitment and a specific temperament, because we can do more harm sometimes, even with the best intentions. So if you believe, like, yeah, I believe wholeheartedly in this, but I don't know if emotionally I can handle it, I'm going to just find ways to do it. In fundraising, I have a group of people, they're fundraising on their own on our behalf, and that's amazing too. They're doing a fun event for real estate at the water park, and they're going to raffle items and everything that's
Wow.
that's they're going to give it to us. And all they're doing is reaching out to me, asking questions and how I can help them. I'm willing to do that for anybody. That saves us so much time, because it's an event that our organization benefits from, but we just provide information and support. In that time, I can spend it driving 8 hours to college orientation instead of on the phone trying to raise funds. So the more people that get involved in those aspects and do it their own way and their own flavor with their own gifts and talents, we're for it. I think it's beautiful.
Here's another interesting thought that I don't think a lot of nonprofits necessarily share is one of our goals is to work New Life Village to the point where it's obsolete. So it might not make sense at first, but back to the analogy of that fire, the immediate need is to put that fire out, and that's what we're working on. But our goal is to address what caused the fire in the first place, whether it's faulty electrical system or whatever the case may be. So we want to inspire the community to actually be that village again, to where it's not a situation where we don't care until that fire is raging. It's a fact of, let's get back to those two commandments. Let's get back to loving our neighbors as we love ourselves. And let's find these youth that don't have the same opportunities, who maybe who some of these people are just orphans. Some of them, their parents just died, and their lives are completely transformed by that. And so if we can get to the point where there is no youth aging out of foster care and ending up on the streets, that's our ultimate goal, to where New Life Village is now obsolete, because from the base level up, there's a village around them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it's the village that starts at a very
Mhm.
young age. Um, the other aspect of that as well is when we're doing this as community, we're inspiring and educating other people to prevent this. It creates, I feel like, a sense of awareness, because we were told very early on in our research that everybody's a phone call away from ending up in foster care or involved somewhere in the foster system with
Right.
CPS. It's literally a phone call away. But one call, one angry neighbor, one relative that's vindictive could end up your child in foster care, even if it's temporary, while things get sorted out and investigated. But guess what? 3 days in foster care, one night in foster care costs and could potentially cost a youth their innocence and end up in a very bad situation, trying to protect them from a potentially bad situation.
Right.
And that happens every day in this country. So we need more good people with the right heart involved. The other thing is, and goes back to the analogy of our goal is to not be needed, right? To not be necessary. We are right now in a big way. It's like hurt people, right? People that end up in foster care hurt by this become generationally that.
Right.
We have so many youth in the system that are third generation, fourth generation foster care. That means they were in foster care. Their children will now be in foster care. and so on and so forth. And we don't have further generations because the system is not old enough to go that far back. But it's as for as long as it's existed, we have descendants of those kids ending up in the same system
My
at
goodness.
one point or another. Some from the gate, some like there's pregnant youth in there that are 13, 14 because they were abused. They're pregnant. Their kids get removed because they're in a foster situation where they can't be with their babies. So now this baby's in another foster home. And then by the time that youth ages out, she might not have the resources to claim her baby because now she's an adult. But do you have a home? Do you have a job? Do you have steady income? Because you can't get your child back until you have your life together, but you've been in government care this whole time. And it creates this cycle that is unbreakable unless somebody steps in and acts differently, doesn't behave like the system.
Actually, that is absolutely where you two come in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that because that cycle, it's so, I was sitting here thinking, oh my God, how do you stop? How do you prevent? I mean, preventing is one thing, but how do you break that cycle? And really, I'm getting chills, sorry. It
Mm-hmm.
it's you guys. It's it's you. It's your board members that believe in you. It's
Mm-hmm.
the people who are listening to this and watching this.
Yeah.
Those are the people that will make a difference. And it kind of blows my mind. It's like everybody's got a friend. And if you look at all the Instagram and the Facebook friends and the TikTok friends, if they just donate $1 a month,
Mhm,
$1,
Mm-hmm.
I can do $1.
mhm.
That that when you break it down like that, because I think you kind of have to.
Yeah.
You know, when you're in a situation and an organization like you guys, it's good to think ahead, but you have to think the here and now. And to be able to do both
Mm-hmm.
is absolutely amazing. And to have the hearts that you guys have, it man, it's it gives it gives me hope
Mm-hmm.
that there are organizations, you guys,
Yeah.
that step up, and you don't, I don't want to say you don't think about the consequences, but you can't worry about what you guys are going through because you have all these other kids that
Mm-hmm.
you have.
They
And
depend on you. Yeah.
yeah, that everybody, my God, the email is right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Admin at newlifevillagectx.org. I don't care if you're listening. I'm sure the links will be in the description of our audio platform, and you're watching this on YouTube, on Instagram. Do not hesitate to reach out and help create. That's all you that's all you have to do. It's James, it's like what you said. You meditate it and you let that
Yeah.
spark become a fire.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, so much of everything that I've done so far in my life, I've just said yes to and seeing where it takes me. And I know who's in control.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't feel good. Sometimes you got to go through it, but on the other side, you're able to look back and go, yes,
Mm-hmm.
I understand what I have to go through. So, um, I really talk about, because you mentioned mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of mentors are you looking for right here and right now that somebody could be like, "Hey, I can do that. I can do that." But specific, is is it specific? Do
Mm-hmm.
you have specific things that you need mentors for?
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. So finances are a big one. And we've had lenders step in and do some financial classes. It could be as easy as a couple of sessions where you teach them how to balance a checkbook. I mean, we don't really do that anymore, but a bank account, and explain credit to them, explain how it can affect you in the future, how to build credit, how to budget. It's as simple as money in and money out, what are priorities, because they're young, and when they start working, they think a cell phone. Remember, they lived in lack, they lived in these organizations where they had basic needs met and that was it, so they didn't experience extra stuff, right?
Yeah.
That my kids experience, right? So they're going to prioritize getting the most expensive iPhone and
Right.
getting the ear pods, and kind of like teaching them that stuff is cool and you can get it, but you should budget for your meals. You should budget for your transportation. What are your long term goals, your short term goals? And yes, it starts very technical, but we want people to have heart behind it. So, like, live it out with them. Um, as some of the kids we've been blessed, the ones we've had so far do have basic living skills, but some of the youth come with no living skills. They don't know how to boil an egg, they don't know
Wow.
how to do laundry, because they've been in a group shelter where things are done for them, or there's like people assigned to certain things, to keep order in this in the system. So they don't know how to do any of those things for themselves. A lot of them have a very hard time being alone. And we remember, we're preparing them for independent living. So they have these cabins when they spend, their nights alone. So somebody to be able to talk to that's healthy and safe, that is not necessarily going to lure them into booty calls or any
Right.
inappropriate behavior, because they're lonely. They tend to default into anybody that pays them attention. So just people available to answer basic questions like, how do you boil rice? Like, I've answered that via text, like,
Right.
um, and and people that, if they have a skill in particular, and we have a youth that we know wants to be an artist, and we have somebody that is a successful artist or a gallery holder or something, they want to step in and teach them how to do that process. If they are interested in nursing, and we have a nurse that wants to tell them about all the options that they can have while in nursing, and give them even a tour of their job site, that's the kind of stuff we need. We did have a young lady that it took her 8 months to figure out what she wanted to do, and that's fine. But we gave her all these different options and let her explore what she wanted to do. Not everybody wants to go to college. Not everybody benefits from college, because they might want to do something outside of that. And college is just time spent. Mm-hmm.
Right. 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 That is very, that's eye opening that you say, because when you live in these homes, I don't know if it hasn't occurred to me until just when you said it, is they have everything kind of taken care of them, or taken care of it for them. And
Mm-hmm.
so absolutely, when they go on their own,
Mm-hmm.
they have no idea
Yeah.
what is going on. And
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, I tell you what, I got a lot of stuff
Mm-hmm.
going through my mind right now.
Mm-hmm.
And um I think one of the great things that we can do with It Takes a Village podcast
Mm-hmm.
is, I would love to be able to do a couple things. Talk to the board members, because I think it's important for people out there on the outside looking in.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important for people to understand not only the organization but the people that help the organization, um, and how they help donate, and how they help the organization. So I think that's one thing. I would love to be able to talk to foster organizations that we can ask questions to, because again, when
Mm-hmm.
people don't know, they don't know, but
Mm-hmm.
it's different now,
Yeah.
because when they know, and when they know what goes on, I think then we can absolutely have people understand what these kids are up against, what your organization is up against,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, and I don't mean that in a bad way at all. I wouldn't even mind talking to some of our government officials about
Mhm.
this,
Yeah.
um, because I think everybody is accountable for something. But if you don't hold anybody accountable, then it just becomes then it just becomes eh, somebody else will do it. Somebody else will take care of it. And we are actually looking and talking to two people that are absolutely stepping up and
Yeah.
taking care of it and doing something about it. So I can't wait to do this. Before or as we begin to wrap up, is there anything else, James and Issa, that you want somebody to think about, to know about?
Yes, that you absolutely can make a difference. And your calling and whatever's tugging at your heart is going to be different than what I've been called to do, that what James is called to do, that what you guys have been called to do, but it definitely matters. If you've been led and feel led to do something for whether it's our organization or somewhere in the system to help the crises, what's going on, do it. Don't know how to start, reach out. I had to reach out before I started and find out from people that were doing it. And then I followed the path that was what I still believe what God is calling me to do, specific path. But I had to reach out to the people that knew. I had to learn from the people that have been doing it and then decide how I wanted to do what I'm doing. Um, I'm open for questions and helping people get started. We want the village. The village means everybody has something different to contribute. Some of us double on the work that we do because it's necessary in multiple levels. Um, Also, if you just want to know more, reach out, email us, send us a message on our webpage. Um, just really ask and get involved and share it. That you might not feel moved to do anything yourself, that's fine. There might be a different journey for you somewhere else. Share it. There's somebody in your friends group, I guarantee you, that is aching to do something, that can do something, and we want them involved.
My goodness. I tell you, this is why I think you need like a bigger platform to talk. There's so many things to talk about. There's so many things that we can only hit in a certain amount of time. And I I know that when you said like artists and things, I already have like people in mind that I could reach out to. And by the way, how many like kids, can we call them kids or the
I
youth?
call them kids
Yeah.
all the time.
Okay.
They're adults though, but they're my kids. They're my
Okay.
kids, and they will forever be my kids. I have like this hope and expectation for them to grow old and wise. And while I'm old and wise, hopefully, they will come and just talk to me, Miss Issa, and they'll still be my kids. They're in many ways just like us when we were 18. We thought we were grown, but we were full of uncertainty and confusion. Most of us, or a lot of us, were blessed to have a supportive family, others were not. And there's trauma that they carry, just like everybody. So they're kids. They're kids
Yeah.
trying to figure out who they are.
Yeah. Yeah. How many kids right now do you have or do you help?
So one of them just left for the military. We still consider her our kid. You know, she
That's
can reach
amazing.
out. Then we have another one heading for college. She's with us, actively living in one of our residences. And then we have a young man that's already been essentially accepted and admitted. He's graduating from a program that will allow him to be a security guard for now, you know, and just get started. And he's going to be moving in August. He
Wow.
actually graduates this Friday. He
Next
just
Friday.
texted next Friday.
Wow.
So, and then we're kind of interviewing another young lady that he referred to us. We're expecting another young lady in November.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
We
Wow.
would take more, but we only like we have to build a community and we don't have that built. So that we have to work with the funds that we have and being able to sustain the bills to pay for these outside
Yeah.
locations that we don't disclose, so that to keep them safe. But that's really where we're at. If we had more places, we would have more kids.
If maybe I shouldn't ask this, but I think I'm going to anyway, because I think in this day and age, if you don't ask for it,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people
Mm-hmm.
will do it. Um, and I am going to be very bold, and I hope I'm not overstepping my boundaries. But how much money
Mm-hmm.
do you guys need by the end of this year? Actually, by the end of the month. How much monthly? How much monthly do you guys need
You
monthly? And
definitely got me because that is my least favorite thing in the whole wide world. But you're right. I love the results we get when we get the funding that we need for certain goals. But I hate like putting money behind it because it's people. I literally see people. I see the goal, but the reality is takes money. So I'll break it down this way. For us to get started with the 12 cabins that we plan on building on the 2 acres and the kitchen and the laundry facilities and all the things that it's like a self sustained community, we need a septic tank. That septic tank is around $40,000 to get completed. So we need to start there. Let's just say that. That's just the basic thing to start the community. Our monthly expenses are pretty low because none of us are collecting a salary. Not a single one of us. We are literally, I have been doing this for over a year for free and taking time out of my income producing job to do this. And I have absolutely no regrets, but my pockets do. So, so I'm just gonna be honest. So I say this honestly. We every penny we spend is towards the efforts of what we're doing. The money that's spent is either to pay for a goal or to fundraise, to like continue the fundraising machine. So every month right now, our whole, even taking care of kids with the properties that we're paying for technology are below $3,000 a month. So but that's going to grow if we don't build this community, because then that means we have to rent more apartments and do more things that cost money, more money than us owning the properties. So, overall, our full budget to build a community, everything, we're talking landscaping, all the things, that it's about $500,000.
yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously, I mean, somebody's gonna listen to that and go, "Oh my God, oh, I get it," and I along with you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the toughest thing to do, is
Mm-hmm.
like when you're an organization, but even more so like when you work for yourself and you talk
Yep.
to people about your services and the things that you offer. I think that's one of the hardest things to do, next to cold calling.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to put it in perspective as a realtor. I think the last average, national average for a home was around 450,000 for the entire nation. Mind you, this is including Missouri, where you can buy a house for $90,000. So, like the national average is about 450 for a family of four,
Yeah.
just a household. For about that same amount of money, we can house 24 people
Wow.
and provide all these services. So it sounds like a lot of money, but if you think about it, we're providing a home, like a home with everything they need for 12 people 24 people at a time.
Wow.
And I
That could be
also
countless throughout the
I
years.
want to
Yeah.
I want to share this so y'all know our heart too. We're building this like a resort because it's not their last resort. Do you
Right.
understand? We want them to come in automatically in a new state of living
Yeah.
than they've lived in previously.
Right. Right.
So it's not over the top, it's not extravagant, but it's going to be nice.
Yeah.
If you have the
Yeah.
graphics, you can share them of
Hmm.
what we plan on building. This is one thing I said from the gate, even when we were designing them. I want this to be a place I would vacation in. I
Mhm.
want this home to be a place where if I go to the Caribbean, it looks like a villa that I would stay
Mhm.
in.
Yeah.
And not because that's what I could afford, because that's what I would choose. And I want them to feel that the second they walk in through those gates, that they're not just, be happy with the fact that you have a roof and food on the plate, which is, yeah, of course we want gratitude. It's one of our 7 core values.
Right.
But we also want them to know they were thought of, they were prayed for, and that we honestly believe they deserve all the good things, regardless
Yeah.
of where they are circumstantially in that moment. Because that's God, that's grace, that's Jesus. He died for us where we were. He gave everything the best of him.
Wow. Oh, wow. 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 Well, I can tell you we're going to go on this journey with you, and I know and I think that there's a lot of stuff to come, and I think that Eric and I are going to do everything we can possibly
Yeah.
to help you to help you. I don't even know what to do yet. But it's just like I said, and it's just
I
like
mean, you
you
got us
guys are
on the
showing.
news.
Yeah,
You're
you've done
doing
a
a
lot
lot.
already.
You're done a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think I've updated you, but we've gotten a lot of people reaching out through our website because of that news report.
Really?
Yes, including the Department of Family and Protective Services, which we've already met with them. But there's people in charge of different regions. So I've
Yeah.
had 2 different regions reach out to me, and this is important too because yes, we're asking about money and people helping. But one of my biggest hopes is that people in need see this and know they can come to us, that we're an option. There's kids watching out there, and these agencies have reached out to send us youth. So we need this work. We need this built.
Mhm.
They're reaching out to send us kids. So we want to say yes.
People who dig septic tanks and do all this stuff, why can't you just step up and just say,
Yeah.
you know what? Because of the two of you and because of what I believe and you guys are doing, it's done. Ah,
Amen.
oh God.
Yeah.
This is going to be a journey. This is going to be an emotional journey, I think.
Yeah.
It's
To be
already
fair and to give credit
somebody's
where
been
credit.
cutting onions in this podcast
Yeah.
all the whole time.
To be fair, to give credit where credit is due, we have had an amazing person step up and do something similar. He doesn't build septic tanks, but he essentially has donated an entire building to New Life Village to utilize to raise funds as a headquarters, as an office for us to alleviate, us having to travel between our personal like work offices and make it a hub where we can raise funds in all the creative ways we want to so that people can come ask us questions. The youth can find jobs if they're still at a skill level where they need a little extra work before they can get on the workforce. They can work there, earn an income, be mentored there. We can receive donations, not just monetary, but items there. And that's a huge blessing. Not only is he giving us that building to utilize, he is fronting all of the renovation costs and he's doing an amazing job. Colors, finishes, everything we have asked for, he has set out to do and is doing it out of just the kindness of his heart.
You know, when you make it look easy and you make it sound easy, people are looking around and going, I think I can do that.
Yeah.
And it's it sounds so easy, but when you have somebody that believes in you
Mhm.
and just says yes,
Mhm.
excellent things can happen.
Mhm.
And just like you're building, there is somebody that's going to listen to this, watch this, and feel it, and they will contact you. And actually, right now, to reach out to the email, please contact James and Issa and just say, hey, I can do this. I know how to do X, Y, Z. What can I do? And let them guide you. They
Yeah.
know exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All you got to
Here's
do is just an idea of it.
this is the thing too. It's very, very simple. We just ask if you could do what you can with what you got right where you're at. It's as simple as that.
I like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And I think there's absolutely going to be more to come. And I think we should just let it hang out. I
Yeah.
think we just need to ask for, I say we, I, I think because I feel now being adopted by you guys in a good way. It's just trying to figure out everything that we can do.
You can also buy a shirt.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
sir.
like this iteration is build a village.
Mhm.
Oh man, okay, where do you do that? Where can we get that shirt?
You guys can order them through the email. Say I want to buy a T-shirt, and what we can just we can ship them to you. They're $25, but all the after the expenses of making the shirt, everything goes to New Life Village.
Okay, I'm gonna buy one. I'll I'll talk to you guys
And we
afterwards.
have a hashtag, and you can do social media, tag us, and we do We the Village Wednesdays. So hashtag We the Village Wednesdays, and you take a selfie with your shirt. We did it last year, and it was a great campaign, and that's just awareness. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Oh man. Okay. This is gonna be great. I'm gonna get
Yes.
a shirt. I will
Yes.
Venmo you right now. Thank you guys. Thank you for just saying yes to Eric and I, and actually letting us be a part of your world.
Yeah, because I mean, this whole helping uh, other people, it's kind of that other people matter, not just me.
It's gonna become easier and easier to say, Eric.
Yeah.
I'm not. I mean, it's always about other people.
I really hope
I'm
so.
gonna rub off on you, and it's gonna be okay.
We got to make sure you say it 5 times a day.
Yeah, it's like
Right when you wake
it's
up.
like that Vicks
That's right.
vapor rub. You know, I grew up on that, so I'm just gonna be the balm to other people.
I love
Well,
it. Thank you guys.
you want me to close this out, guys?
Yes, Larry.
James and
Yes.
Issa, thank you so much again, in all seriousness, for letting us be part of this with you. And, I feel that we are part of the team. And, you can also, not just by helping financially and the other ways, share this podcast with people that you know, because you could touch that one person, and that's all that matters. Well, I think I know how we're going to end the show each and every week. Remember, everybody, support our children.